G'day from Oz. Bear with me, we got the cricket in the background. Family out the lake. It's about 45 degrees. The other night it was 39.5 degrees Celsius at about 11 p.m. So I haven't been recording. It's been getting too hot for that shit. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm going to show you how I break down an ICO, and Dether just seems to have popped across the radar. A lot of these ICOs are just randoms. 9 times out of 10, it's all rumour. So I'm going to have a look at one called Dether, and let's see what it's all about. It's got all the pretty logos, teams, let's have a look. And hopefully, it'll give you an idea of how I break it down. Where are we? Sell crypto cash for cash. Oh, hello. Just like you're a mobile ATM. I can see regulations kicking in right there and then. There's already a dark market for this. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to say. So, as I said, this is random. I don't know much about it. For buyers, meet with cryptocurrency sellers around you. Pay with your local currency. Yeah, what can go wrong there? Especially if you're meeting people in dark alleys doing crypto trades. Okay, expand your visibility. Now, I'm always a good thing for this. I like to see businesses take or utilize cryptocurrency as an payment for option. Problem is cryptocurrencies is so volatile. So I've seen a dentist in Melbourne, and to be honest, this is just why I'm interested. Dentists aren't cheap, and I've got a more portfolio in crypto than I would have in cash. So for me to go off and get my old choppers fixed for a few crypto bucks, well, that sounds a good idea. Problem is that they take everything. So from their position, they're going to have to learn how to liquidate or hold. It'll be one of those interesting spaces. But payment gateways and businesses taking cryptocurrency is going to be a happening thing, but it's not like someone hasn't already done it before, and it's not like that space hasn't been approached in Australia. Now we've got Bitcoin ATM starting to rock up on the streets. Anyone that's used it, let me know. If you've had to sit there wait half an hour to 2 weeks for your for your transaction to clear, I'll be honest, and this is slightly off subject, but we'll come back. Bitcoin ATMs. I find it is ironic, considering a normal ATM might cost you $2.50. Now a Bitcoin transaction can cost a lot more than that. So I'm more interested if someone rocked up with Litecoin ATMs or something like that. I'd be more interested about that. Yes, it is. It is. It's buying and selling cryptocurrency is time consuming. Yes, I will give them that. It takes time to register an exchange and to get back into fiat. Generally, that requires some form of get to know you and anti-money laundering legislation. But yes, this is the big thing. This is what I like about cryptocurrencies. I think it can expose unbankable people, stateless people, stuff like that. Okay, a peer-to-peer ecosystem of da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, the problem is I'm going to have to rip into this, because this becomes an issue of risk and personal safety for me straight away, plus the fact that governments, again, might not like this. It'd be the Uber of cryptocurrency, and I'm sure they want to bloody regulate it. So basically what I'm seeing here is you can Snapchat a nearest person around you and say, look, I've got some crypto dollars, have you got some fiat? And they go, yeah, and we catch up and we all meet in a happy spot. But yeah, I think it looks nicer than it's actually going to happen. As a shop to yeah, I guess if they're going to create an ecosystem where, and this is what it's going to say, add your business to the Dether map. Now, whether that's a logical argument or actual, here's a map with some GPS coordinates, who knows. Expand your visibility to the Dether ecosystem of crypto buyers and sellers. So yes, it looks like if you're in here, you might have an option to promote yourself and expose yourself. Yeah. So maybe they might have an invoicing. So it suggests to me that it might have an invoicing system. Quickly switch from current peer-to-peer event volatility. Okay. But again, all these things are beautiful to say, but the legalities of doing it are different things. So always, this is what I like about ICOs, is this is the time to sell, and often this is the best possible scenario, not the actual scenario. Our mission is to make crypto. Yeah, novice or expert. Now, I guess if the interface is easy, and it's not always about meeting someone in a dark alley, who knows? So what they're always going to say is global blockchain's growing, and I'll mention to someone about. Most of them always talk about Nakamoto somewhere in the white paper. It's just a standard rant. Okay, so now we've broken down to the team. Context of it looks like it's peer-to-peer cryptocurrency trading. Find someone local and off you go. Issue is, if your local situation is volatile, then I still think you're going to have a problem. But whether this thing will work overseas or not is another thing. So if you've got a lot of crypto bucks, you might want to travel, meet someone. Who knows? Instead of doing you could do the exact opposite of the Nigerian prince. You probably could have real money and you could exchange it if someone wants to help do the deposit. Okay, let's have a look. I don't care about Twitter shit. Twitter's good as a way of getting back into them if they give you grief. And it's a very public channel too. Now, admittedly, you probably want to see a bit more than just blockchain. Or I'm not saying, and this is purely superficial shit. So, look, at the end of the day, you can knock them back, and I can knock back. Look, I'm going to talk about Matrix after this. That was a shit website, come on. But I'll never knock back some just because of the website. There's got to be a few things more than just a website. But yeah, Matrix managed to tick a few of those boxes anyway. Alright, so we're going to have a look at these guys' LinkedIn profiles. Save the date. Now, excuse me for a second. One thing I've always had a mind with in LinkedIn profiles is if you're really good at your game and you're going to do some social engineering for a $30 million crowd sale, then chances are, and I bet you there are services out here that could easily expand someone's following presence. So what I generally try and do is strip past the 500, and look, you can have some people out there that are actually, they don't have many following, but they've worked in the right places, and people from those places have backed them. So from July this year, co-founder Tanner, and this is where you might want to actually have a look at the companies themselves, because sometimes what I've noticed is the company profiles have been actually generated retrospectively just to support the people coming out of the teams. Now, look, biggest problem I've learned is never judge a company by what you don't know about it. So, and I'll call out a famous YouTuber out there, and who thought that people from Power Legend, I think some of the backgrounds was they were from the ASX, and Ian couldn't work out what the ASX was at the time. And I think at the time he passed on it because he thought it was a lowbrow bloody team, and he changed his tune. I think once he worked out these guys weren't from chumps. So sturdy abroad. So it sounds like he's Master of Public Affairs. Yeah. Look, okay. Never judge a book by cover. See if he's got any material publications. Okay, so if he's got some publications, then that's always another avenue to check. But just make sure those publications are not just 3 minutes ago or around the time of the ICO listing. Again, some of these certifications and honours awards, it's hard. It's very hard to verify. But what I'm not seeing is any cross promotion from someone else from another area. Often they also will look for their published material. So I lie. There's some endorsements. Blind bastard. But you see how these endorsements are coming from a particular start too. So look, the good thing is you can sniff around here a little bit and find out whether it's worth anything or not. On the surface, these guys, as most people like to call them, superstars and non-superstars. Look, I just say, the history about this guy is, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's not good. If I was to look for someone, I'll probably move on to the next employee. Real estate. Okay, see, there we go. One employee, 13 followers. Yeah, and he's worked here, so that's not really high profile. And that was just a random stab. Alright. What else? We clicked on another company, I think. Yeah, 573. Let's check out the employees. So this might be a half-functioning company. They've got a presence. It doesn't look retrospective. So yeah, what I'm looking for is signs of deception more than anything world class. Yeah, so that looks like a legitimate company you worked for. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just looking, I'm sniffing breadcrumbs. I'm looking for something that just doesn't add up. And sometimes the further you dig into these places, the worse it gets, because you go, wait up, that company's got one employee, like we saw one of them, and he was probably it. So, yeah, I'll disregard anything from that information. But then again, he's supposedly been from here. And that's got a few, so that looks like a legitimate entity that he would have worked for. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for world class or not. I'm looking for signs of deception. Because the world classness and whatnot, who knows? Not everyone's world class right at the beginning. They become world class when they do something world class. So my attitude is if they are deceiving, look at Matrix. Those guys had PhDs and shit, and the ICO and a few other things have raised a lot of eyebrows. So you can be world class and dumb, alright, or you can be quiet achiever and not recognised, but then just come out and bang, all of a sudden you've rocked the world. So okay, let's continue on. Again, that looks like another company I think we're looking for. Oh, actually, that looks like wherever that came from. Hey. Well, okay, so that's what I mean. Follow the breadcrumbs. So, look, I don't know NG for a bar of shit. But, when you look at it, it's got a few followers. Yeah, it's a fairly legitimate. It could have been, look, this is not going to be done overnight kind of profile here. So, look, I'd probably have another look. Sniff around, see if any of his mentions are from that company, and he was heading up a division in that company. So look, okay, we won't call him an all-star. Maybe a what do they call it, a diamond in the rough. So again, don't write these people off straight away. Look, the biggest thing you can learn from is Power Ledger. As soon as I saw those guys, I knew they were legit. So that's not too bad. Okay. Back to him. So we're going to our next bloke. We're going to do the same bullshit detector through here. Now, what you notice is between him and him, straight away, they've got a background that's consistent. So, look, I'm always intrigued when that happens. It's whether they've jumped ship or whether they've created the ship together to sell the next thing. But I'm always cautious when I see multiple part team out of the one division. It starts to write, as much as it might look like a good thing, it raises an eyebrow for me because sometimes it might discredit what was going on in this area here. So basically I wouldn't say he's got much of a history. I'm not going to knock him. Again, don't knock what you don't know. But based on the surface, look, that other bloke had more credentials than this bloke. Again, 500 yeah. Very happy for that chappy. He's got a few followers, this bloke. Yeah. Again, this is where you probably want to go through some of his back end stuff. He's worked for the one place for a while. He's moved around a while. Yeah. He's had 3 different jobs in the... Okay. I always look for those anomalies too, because sometimes they might raise an eyebrow. He's gone from there, he's gone from 1 to 2 to 3, and now he's a freelancer for Symphony 2. Or maybe they downgraded. Yeah, again, I'd have to go through some of this stuff. Nothing stands out. He's been a presidente of something. Master's degree. Look, master's degrees sometimes aren't usually given out like Cocoa Packs, so hopefully he's earned it, but he's from a different area than I'm familiar with. But I would say, look, nothing really stands out there. Happy for anyone to correct me if I'm wrong. French administration. Yeah. And this is all we do. We just spend half an hour to an hour going through this shit. Again, if we start looking, what's it? But that's his own company, I bet. See, right now I'm starting to go, okay, look. Where's he got this? He got Stanford University online course. Okay. I won't knock online courses. I think they're pretty good. Now, if he'd done the actual, 3-4 year degree at Stanford, then that's a whole different thing. But at the same token, I don't knock online courses. I'll do it myself. I think it just helps you get your background. But if he actually done the 4 years at Stanford, that's a big difference than doing an online course. So again, I look, these guys, there's only one guy that really looks like he's worked for a big business. The rest look like they've worked for small entities, and who knows, those small entities are probably just freelancing. Have a look at this bloke. Alright, France. Oh, see, my other half would have me already investing. Yeah, it's French. When are we going to get to Paris? Ah, shit, when Bitcoin's $100,000 a bit. Alright. Okay, we'll have a look at this company, because that's all he's really referencing. He looks, I hope that's not his experience for interfaces. It's just hack and slack of a Photoshop. But anyway, I don't know much about Chromium. I just saw objects and forms a bit more than that. Okay. It's got a small, 36. Again, small company. So look, on the team, I'm going, I'm not really oversold. I'll spend a bit more time with it later. I'm not going to be jumping and getting FOMO over it. When you start seeing 2 or 3, and again, Matrix Pro, good example. You see 2 or 3 PhDs and you see more brains than a Burke and shit. You tend to get a bit FOMO-ish because you want to get on the whitelist before every other mofo. CGI, that sounds... bear with me. Again, we're just putting that bullshit detector on. Look at the credibility of what they're referencing as previous companies. I like the ones that are so green at a high school that they don't even look like they even know what a company is, and that's why I clicked on that. That gave me a feeling. Wait, and I reckon I saw that. Somewhere else. Anyway, we've come back to. I feel like we've been here before. So that looks like it's a legitimate place. Now he may or may not know the guy from. This is what would be good if we can actually have a half well-connected community. If this bloke is legit. Because this bloke is legit. Jamie is from Horizon State, or known as Decision Token. He's from Australia. So I would love to have someone like Jamie be a BS detector and say, wow, this bloke's legit and their company's legit. They're just getting off the ground. All of a sudden, that changes everything. A bit of credibility, street cred, I guess. CGI... Yeah. So it looks like this bloke here, not this one. I mean, I probably already shut on him. One of those blokes anyway had a fairly decent background. 2 of them anyway. So look, I'm not going to be jumping overjoy. I'd say the team, if it was a percentage overall, I'd say it'd be about a 40% out of 100 for that team. Nothing really stood out. A couple of blokes there have worked on big companies, but overall, the metrics suggest that they're not exactly supermen in their fields just yet, but as I said, we don't know if that's the case or not. Now, let's come back into here. Look at their advisors. And this is the thing. We want to, at least with their advisors, give it a quick look. Even because if they don't reference them in their LinkedIn, it's almost like, come on, guys. If you want to be associated with the program, but then by all means, put your finger, signature right here, and actually put it in your profiles. Otherwise, we've got to spend time. And if I've got to spend time to ask you guys if you actually think you're part of a project, I get pissed. Alright, just put it right up there. So let's have a look. They probably have. Let's have a look. Advisory, Ethereum Foundation, Oma Venture Capital, Obi, Founder Startup. See, this is where... and I'll swear in a minute. Why put these blokes? It should be a prerequisite. If you're going to use someone as an advisor, and I'm going to make sure I'm not going to be stupid, because this is the type of stuff you go into the channels and ask questions about. Okay, if you're an advisor to this, or if you have this advisor in your team, how come they don't have it on their LinkedIn? It's a small one-liner. And this bloke here, you would want on the team. Stanford University. I bet he's not a subscription. And again, bloody Jamie, you're a bit of a slut, mate. Jamie knows everyone. Okay. Yeah, and this is the thing. They are quite happy to... They're quite happy to reference everything they've done, except for the company they're talking about. So, raises some questions there. Are those advisors legit? That's the first thing. Big red flag until that answers question. That question is answered. Graduate cert. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Alright. So right there and then I start going, what the? Sorry about that. I got interrupted by the kids. Now, what I was going back to, if you're going to have advisors on your white paper, make sure they reference you, especially if you're going to reference their LinkedIn profile. It looks unprofessional. It doesn't look like a partnership, and it's very easy for someone to be just referenced and not substantiated. Big issue is guys like us who actually give a shit about a project now have to go out and start asking questions about the validity of someone's involvement as an advisor. So, any further TGE, ICOs, whatever you want to call yourselves, take note. If you're going to have someone listed as an advisor, make sure they can take the time to update their profile to reflect that. If they can't take the time to change their profile to reflect that, then how much do they believe in your project? Okay, that's the subconscious thought that most of us should have. And all questions, anyone who sees something like that, we should always be asking questions. Are they on it? Go through the Telegram feeds. Why are they not referencing it? Make them honest. Make them bloody put their money where their mouth is. And that's just my views, especially when it comes to advisors. You see Vitali and a whole bunch of people getting, they're advisors. No, they won't. I think it's a black mark. As soon as it becomes, I get nasty about that. So those three advisors, I didn't see anything referencing the fact they're involved with the Dether ICO. So that's 0%. That's as simple as that. It's a metric. You've referenced, in fact, if it could be a negative, you reference people and they're not referencing you. That's a bit suspect. Okay, so fix that up at Dether. Chuck us throw out a message or do something with their profiles and let the community know that they're going to reference it. Otherwise, 0%. That wouldn't even get a. So at the moment, we're looking at 40% for the team, 0% for advisory. Yeah, it's not looking good. As I said, let's start ripping through the white paper. Also, I want to touch on one thing too before we get to the white paper, because then these are things that people go hype, propaganda. Okay, we're going to go back to a good one, big, huge hype, big feed, Matrix. Matrix chain seeking to define blockchain 3.0. You know, this is soft porn, guys. You know, anyone in this industry's got salivating, and you know, I want to know more. Excuse me. Take my credit card details, please. But you go, yeah. First thing before you start caring about what's in the content is the validity of the person writing the story. In this case, it's not an author, an individual person that's going to stick their hand up. This is not Wall Street Journal people. This is not, you know, I don't know. Give me a famous reporter. But anyway, so it's not credible journalism. Why? Achieve your communication goals. It's a PR company writing the story, and that's going to be often the case. If I want to see something rattle the news. I want it to be journalism, not promotional propaganda. Okay, so again, that's why I kind of held off on Matrix and it brought up more questions, and I'll go through that later. We'll go to our white paper. So, knowing all this headache and going through the team and going la 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 la, I probably wouldn't even give time to the white paper. I like the idea, and what I might do is, because I'm not suspect of the team and because I'm suspect of the advisors, I might wait. I would definitely wait for this one to go to exchange, only because it gives some validity that you at least at one point or another you might be able to liquidate what you're looking for. Because remember, we're not. To be honest, most of the shit we invest in people is not about the technology. I didn't invest in Ethos because I used the wallet. I didn't invest in Power Ledger because I got power panels in my. I invested in these things because we want profit, and that's the end of the day. So what I might do is let this one, in my particular case, I'll let this one ride out. If the team gets their shit together and the hype starts to get bigger and some corrections and the advisors start to come stronger, then I might look at the ICO. But otherwise, you could probably get this one half price. I'll bet, yeah, because it's going to be below the radar. And I'll put my name on that because, again, we're all good callers, but I guess we're going to come back in a few months' time and go, will we right about that call? So, most of this is going to be all tech speak. And again, without a working product, tech speak is BS. Unless it's peer reviewed. I'll give tech speak that's peer reviewed by Universal, substantiated. I'll give that credibility. Otherwise, it's just rant. Decentralized, pie chart, some man selling fish. So we're probably going to be suggesting, without reading it, we're talking about social inclusion of people that are unbanked. Yeah, it's a hype term at the moment, the unbanked. Okay, and I'm all for it. I think blockchain will be the ultimate, if governments can't stop it, the ultimate liberalism of capitalism. Okay, at my call. Clean. Oh God, he's a human rights activist. Yeah, well, Julian Assange, rock up, mate. Yep. The unbanked, government oppression and stuff like that, I am all for intervention. Problem is that once we're seeing the internet community starts to intervene in these things, we start to be viewed as part of the problem. Especially when it starts to happen, not just in the oppressive governments, but it starts to spread across to non-oppressive. Australia's not too bad, but I'm sure as shit. No, our governments have got their eyes open about the crypto space, and we're all bankable, according to maybe a few people. Okay, the cutting edge app. mass adoption. So have they got an app? And again, I'm not going to go through this too much because there was nothing screaming out on the initial surface that said yeah. And most things like Substratum and a lot of ICOs, they'll do a user interface that is purely speculative. It's not actually a working product. It's just something they think that would look like if it was working. That shit pisses me off. But if they acknowledge it, transparency. Again, I'm not looking for gold. I'm looking for deception. These are all trade examples. So the first thing I'd be wondering is, have they got a working product? So I want to have a look at the timeline. I'm going to skip the rest of this shit because these are all great theoretical stuff, but anyway, like my university degree, sometimes theory does not play out in reality. You want to actually get out in the reality and find out some things are inhibiting your process. Give me a second. Especially I can see how government's not wanting, unregulated, well, like guys, actually now we're here. Imagine this bloke at a hock store down the road from you offering to trade cryptocurrency, like the gold merchant, and you've got your grandma's necklace and it's $20,000 at 24 karat gold, but this bloke here, he wants to buy it for $5. You just go, yep, because that's the supply and demand. He's the only guy on the block. Is that what the space is going to be? No. So the government's going to intervene in that, I guarantee it. This is legit. I've seen this picture, and they've done well to steal that from Facebook. Yeah, that's legit. Again, that's what I'm more interested about. It's not the peer-to-peer lending, or the peer-to-peer transactions and exchange of fiat to currency, but the payment gateway. The first person that makes a payment gateway that's quick, easy for vendors to use, I reckon it's going to be cool. There's a lot of, as more people get involved in this space, I know that my money, I'd love to be able to spend it in ways, but again, what happens with the government in our laws with tax, this is a taxable event. You're now buying goods with this, and you might have needed to declare income tax, or who knows. And this is that's the threat against this kind of merchant gateway straight away. Oh la la. French. Oh God, my other half love that. Okay, we're still just again theoretical. Road to decentralization. The true decentralization is open sourcing in my eyes, and from there on in, peer-to-peer servers and stuff like that. God, peer-to-peer messaging. This is not uncommon. Encrypted peer-to-peer messaging. Obsidian's already doing this, and you can do anonymous crypto Obsidian transactions. Have a look at Obsidian. ODN. It's done quite well. It's a proof of stake protocol, and I say they're moving ahead. I'd say they'd probably be ahead of these guys. So yeah, if you're looking at encrypted peer-to-peer messaging with built-in cryptocurrency, Obsidian's another one to look at. It runs off though I think it's like whatever the blockchain is for, and excuse my ignorance, I just know it usually. The one for Bitcoin, because it's the same style wallet. They've forked that wallet. Reputation system, yeah. This is not uncommon. In-app wallet, yeah. Escrow system. Now this is what I wouldn't mind. Something like that gets my eyes a bit pricked, but if the system's already out there. Okay, let's have a look at the roadmap. Founded. Miracle Weekly Hackathon first prize. Okay, website. Alpha version of on Ethereum code. Okay. I have to have a bit of a look at that now. And it's easy to claim that though, but we'll have a look, see if we can get our heads into it. As soon as I do that, that makes a little bit difference. Crowd sale. Yeah. I don't like lack of vision here. You see, what you've got is we'll have a version 0.1, which is listen, beta, or you certainly. On the Ethereum mainnet, Babylon, Cairo, Versailles, You have to break it down. So I'm going to have the wallet up by 2018, the light wallet. Yeah, some third party, peer to peer. They should have, if they're already coming to this point in time now, they should have something up there for us to have a look at. So again, if you're really legit about this shit, there's options to dig in further, and I might have a look at that later on. Yeah, KML, AML, here we go. They've identified these as issues. So you're going to have... I like how they do this. Know your customer there. I'm going to break this down in an argument. You're talking about the unbankable. They're not going to pass KYC or AML. KYC and AML, anti-money laundering, and know your customer. Short and middle term strategy. Yeah. This is again my problem. So you just start talking about fiat to cryptocurrencies, and you're talking about the unbanked. It's almost a hypocritical term. You can't KYC, AML, the unbankable, the stateless. The half the arguments you're talking about in this white paper. It just can't happen. I'm happy for anyone to argue that, but at some point in time, they're going to have substantial ID to prove who they are, and I think this is a problem. That's why I like blockchain, but I think AML and KYC kind of goes against blockchain, but I see the need for it. Unfortunately, it's kind of that double-edged sword. You can't have criminals and shit running around doing undoubtedly what Wall Street are already doing, but at the end of the day, it's not what blockchain or Bitcoin in itself was developed for. It was developed to circumvent the need for KYC, the need for AML. It was meant to level the playing field against those who were never even on the field to start with. So, I'm not a big seller. As soon as I acknowledge that, 3/4 of that white paper goes out the window. Okay, I've gone through the team. You can always go through these mediums. It's always good to. I always subscribe to at least one, because sometimes you notice that the communications change, something happens, and it's a game changer, and you go, "Oh, wait up, I want to be in there." So keep your finger on the pulse with anything that you're genuinely interested in, and you might find that all of a sudden that team you didn't know about has something that, or Vitali jumps on and says, "I love this." Something happens. You want to be the first to know, because then you can get your whitelist ready, you can get your KYC going, and off you go. And that's just how I break down an ICO in a nutshell. Now, Matrix was a classic one. Again, it failed for me, and then the ICO itself didn't do much better. I'll quickly just show you why, without going into too much detail. But at first, again, they had a sale. We all know that. The sale failed twice on the one day because they supposedly got DDoSed, and which wasn't the case, because the homepage itself, I moved it. Now I'll bring that back up. But the home page itself had not been attacked at all. There was no source code committed to the second page, so whether the traffic to the site prevented them from actually uploading the Ethereum address or not, I'm not sure. But what really made it really interesting is I postponed it first time, an hour later it failed, and then they said we'll do it 24 hours. They did it for 24 hours, but the funny thing is, when they did it the next day, they announced, the same thing, tick, 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 tick. It went down to 0. We clicked, we logged in, there was no key, there was nothing changed. And that never really changed for 5 minutes. We know, anyone out here can correct me if I'm wrong, but I couldn't see the key for at least 2-3 minutes until after the sale started. And by that time, I think in the TG channel, it hadn't fired. They hadn't put their key in there for 6 minutes. And if you have a look at the contract, someone knew about it well before us. I've lost it already. There we are. Oh, this would be. Look at that. There's still activity on that contract. Oh, I'm going to fire this off. View all. And this is what really went wrong. I can tell you only 202 or something transactions went through because the contract had sold out well within 5 minutes or 7 minutes. And considering no one had the address, start having a look at some of the big orders here. This isn't chicken feed. These are the first ones that come off the rank. So now, if the contract was done, let's say this is a sale, it failed. 24 hours later, it started the next day. Why is that contract only 3 hours, generated 3 hours before that second sale? Or sorry, the third sale the next day. Wouldn't that contract be 5 days and 11 hours? Just raising some questions. Because I would say the reason why the sale didn't go the first day is because contract wasn't created. There was an issue. It was either it wasn't created or it was an issue with the first contract. Simple as that. It wasn't DDoS. It was something else. They had no address to put up there. But anyway, the first of these mofos. Sale started. At 3 o'clock. This bloke had his first transaction in 30 seconds. Now I'm telling you, we did not have the address. No address for about 3-4 minutes and 6 minutes on Telegram. And yet this big whale bastard who's got $1.7 million managed to get in well before all of us. Raised a few questions. Yeah, don't know where. If you start tracing the money trail on these wallets, it gets messy. What you'll find is there's multiple transactions to each of these wallet addresses. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it almost feels like someone accumulated a lot of funds and then spat it all out. Probably a few groups, but I'm sure Matrix, or Ledge, Matrix, gave these guys the address well before anyone else did. It just seems like the big guys got in well before anyone else, and it kind of made me cry a little bit. Not because I wanted to get in, but considering there's like 30 or 40,000 people involved on the social feeds, only 200 to get in. It raises some questions about a team that's full of PhDs, but didn't give two shits about token metrics to the point where whales were guaranteed. You got a whale clear. You got quite a few whales that are holding significant portions of their portfolio, and then you've got a few little shitties. Yeah, but look at this. This is like, look at these guys. They got in. Now, when does it start to lessen out? 1.5. Yeah, he didn't get in because of probably the gas war. I don't know. Something happened there. So let's have a look. When does some small chump get in? See, 3 minutes. Alright, that's about right. I would suggest you paid a bit of gas to get that through. Yeah, look at that, $5.61.61. Yeah. So look, I'm going to throw it out there for Matrix to explain how some really big transactions managed to get through here 3 minutes before any other transaction come out. Now that's got to scream out issues. Now the fact that these dweebs didn't even bother to look at token metrics or stopping whales meant that they knew what was going on. They just didn't want to stop it from going on, and I'll leave it at that. Look, I think that's a shonk. My last bitch of the week. You bastards. These guys excluded Australians, and the team is from Australia. Now that's just classic crap. And when I asked them, I said on TG, how come Australians are banned considering the guy and this guy from the team? Excuse me. This bloke here is from Sydney. In fact, Dether itself, until I made a mention on the Telegram channel about it being from Sydney, had on its LinkedIn page, Dether, North Ride, New South Wales, Australia. And I said, how come you guys can hold the tokens, but we can't buy them? And because out in Australia, and I'm just going to throw this out as a general thing, in Australia, our ACCC has an issue, and they don't care about ICOs as much. In fact, Australia are really cool about that. But what they do care about is anyone making misrepresentation. So if this ICO suggests it's going to do something and it doesn't, then potentially, if they're from Australia, then that might be the legal reason. But I can't understand why, because we've had PowerLedge and a few other ICOs hit the scene since, and none of them have raised any earn. In fact, I think we're all watching how PowerLedger and decision token Horizon State was going to go, and it seems to be like the government's pretty lax on it. In fact, they've actually jumped on the PowerLedger bandwagon. So I'm surprised for these guys to actually block not just Australia but New Zealand and Canada. So wow, this is unusual. I don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, any other ICO that's blocked Australia or New Zealand in the least anyway. So look, anyway, I asked that question on Telegram, banned. And it's like Matrix. I asked, how did you get to your 200,000 transaction per second metric? Was this done by mathematics or was it arbitrary figure? Not rude, banned. And you start going, look, when you start hearing stuff like this, you go, look, red flag, clone. I tend to watch it. I might wait for these things to hit the exchange just to prove they're not a scam or something like that, and then afterwards we'll see. Now, Matrix supposedly has hit the exchange, but considering 202 people own 3/4 of the investment, well, all the investment, except that I think they're making some amends with some tokenistic crap with some investors, but yeah, at the end of the day, the majority is held by the minority. So will be very wary about touching Matrix tokens until I see substantial movement to suggest hands have changed, especially considering some of those orders were $1.5 million. Yeah, you know who's playing with who. Okay, so look, that's how I could break down an ICO. I try to be methodical. Look, we didn't get much of token metrics. We didn't get much out of the plan. It was a bit thin. I'm not going to be worrying about this Dether in a great hurry. I think I've got some other ones. I'm looking at WePower, and I've had some good discussions with the guys there just because I'm curious. They're going to use, they're coming out to Australia in February. I think they're going to rattle PowerLedger. I did ask the question, what's the difference between WePower and PowerLedger, and apparently WePower are about green power, whereas PowerLedger will take power and sell it, especially in some of the overseas areas, I'm thinking is what the impression. They'll be selling what they call dirty power. It's not always sourced from renewable resources. I like it. It sounds much like what PowerLedger said they were going to do with the second token, with seeding assets and stuff like that. But I think WePower have a different way they want to approach it. So I'm having a look at it. I'm interested. I'm whitelisted. I'm KYC'd. I'm not telling you all to go buy it. Not even telling you to go look at it. In fact, I probably know nothing. So don't bother about. In fact, I'm just forget it. You know nothing. No, this is not the ICO you're looking for. while we're talking about the ICOs you're not looking for, what else did I have a look on the radar? Yeah, B token and Arc Block. I am on the whitelist and KYC. I think, to be honest, the hype in these things is going to be cool. It will get some money for sure. Not investment advice, so just remember that. But yes, I'm looking at B token, Arc Block, and yes, this is a lot in my Telegram feed. Give me a second, I might spit that up. Telegram. Art Block has got huge socials. The same with B Token. WePower is one of those ones as well. And look, Suppo has had a dig at WePower, but Suppo's a screaming goat. Nothing much more than a screaming goat that says buy ethos, buy Bitcoins, or buy it. The bloke's a fucking knob. I'll call it right there. He's dangerous. I think some of the way he breaks stuff down, his lack of understanding across many technical domains, and then his cult like attitude is dangerous. Hold is for people that want to hold a bag. We love holders. I love holders. I want to sell my debt, and I'm looking for someone to sell it to. It's going to be a holder, because they're going to buy the debt. Love them. Alright, Darty. Yeah, look, it's a plagiarised white paper. I got the extreme, and this is my initial thing, and I can be quoted pro saying it before it was even people worked out as plagiarised. I did say it to someone inside these channels. I said the white paper and the overview felt like chalk and cheese. It felt like two different authors. The white paper was very technical. In fact, it almost hurt my head. Sometimes technical things aren't too bad, but this thing was mind-numbingly bad, which suggested, compared to the overview, which was bogus, it was just like chalk and cheese. And now we know why. After it was ripped off from another project. Medical chain. Now I'm looking at that. The community's growing. Again, I think I have to look in. And the main thing with these things, if you start to find a community, or you're starting to find an ICO that you're getting interested in, get in the community, find out, because they might change shit. I know that quite a few of them lately have pulled back the KYC process. So instead of it saying, let's say it's 3 weeks time, they get smashed with 40,000 subscribers on the channel, and all of a sudden they're closing KYCs within a few days. So look, if you're really interested in this space, especially if you're just riding the hype for PND, this is what I'm doing. I'm kind of looking at these ones, going, okay, what's the sort community like? Look, Dimcoin, Lucky. I'm still interested to see how that's going to pan out. Metronome. Now, I think that one closed on me. Again, these are the ones. Again, you have to double check. If you it gets very noisy, so you need to keep an eye on those spaces. Origin Trail. I missed that one. It went quick. And look, I'm actually more of a believer in the technology of it. It's if it is what it is, and what I saw from the white paper, it's end to end. It's not manufacturing, but basically stock control, end to end. Look, I know the word anytime, but the ability to track everything from the farm to your hand. And because they actually addressed even small things like the fact, because I used to work for a big manufacturing industry, and they addressed the fact that they couldn't interface with their special QR codes, because a lot of supply chain, it's all about supply chain. So supply chain don't usually like adapting to suit the technology. They like their technology to suit what they've got, so barcodes and stuff like that. Whereas these guys have acknowledged that they couldn't use QR codes, and they changed their system and adapt this. So that's what I mean. When I start reading stuff like that in their white paper, I go, shit, you guys are thinking. This sounds legit. So not financial advice, but that's the kind of stuff I go, wow, that's interesting. And they make a solid argument. And I was on the second tier, but that sold out. I decided I'd go to sleep, wake up 6 hours later, gone. But I'm interested. I'm hoping they'll do well. Honestly, do. I think end-to-end supply chain tracking is great, especially if you want to know the authenticity of a product. There's a lot of crap here. I got to go through it one day. Ian Bellina, don't mind him, but he is. I always say he is the metric. WePower, again, I like it. I think the token cap's a bit higher than Power Ledger. The market cap's higher than Power Ledger. But at the end of the day, I think the metrics in the market have changed. And we'll look at what my Power Ledger is now. And Power Ledger really is more than just a media machine. So we're happy to see anything happen, but it's just a good use of media. WePower, I hope they come out. Maybe Power and WePower, buddy, really hit the ground running and revolutionise Australia because we need it. Telcoin, yes, that's been a good one. That's returned a nice bit, like INS has returned a nice bit. I think most ICOs, if you look at some quality and it's got some validity between the team and the product, you're going to get some return. It might not be get 20 times return, but shit, look, even if you make return and you just build your capital up, that's what it's all about, mate. One chain, come on. They're talking about return. I'm waiting. And we've all been waiting. We've been waiting like virgins in a brothel. And we've just been told, wait up, you've got to wait for your Bitcoin transaction to clear. God damn it, hurry up. This is, one chain is one of those things where I can't wait. I think it's going to really improve some of my capital, and we'll sit back and laugh and go, haha, because I had to get up at 2 in the morning to make sure that it didn't sell out. And my in-laws were here at that time, and they were looking at me very oddly because, crypto's all new to this. And they're like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm going to get up at 2 in the morning, and if I'm talking about it in a year time with a nice bottle of scotch, you know why. One chain. Okay. Nucleus Vision. Yeah, look. Gems and Gems, my feeling on that, look. Some young kids behind the wheel there. But I did have a chat to one of them, Rory, about the quality of the white paper. He acknowledged it, said thank you. Even chats like that, look, I don't mind it. I think it's good. If he's going to come out and actually say hello and do something about it, that's great. But still doesn't change what I think. I'm going to wait for that one on the exchange. And again, I don't care if someone makes 10 times, as long as I make my bit when I need it. It's all about making money and not losing it. So with these guys, happy to see. Hopefully they do well. Young, dumb, full of. Alright, I'm out of here. Look, I've done my rant. Anyone else watching, there's a couple of people that'll be watching about the Matrix thing. Enjoy. I hope you don't lose money, but it looks like the wrong people at the moment own the wrong tokens, and the team's very unprofessional. And being PhDs, and unprofessional doesn't quite. Unprofessional professor. I don't know. Alright, guys, take it easy. Have a good one. Stay cool if you're in Australia, and I'll make some video. I'm going to go through WePower a bit more.